Participation, the free bus, Rebirth, Shah Reza Pahlavi. Vigilantes. Masa Resurgence 2581. Rebirth. The 24th of August 2023. Rebirth Group has boarded the free bus without invitation, where Shah Reza Pahlavi, as the King of Iran, is sitting on one of the seats of that bus. The person who is the political leader and carries out the necessary legal work with tact and wisdom is on this bus and with others. For security reasons, this political leader is wearing a hat that covers their face and identity. The social leaders who have guided all the social movements at different times since the beginning of the Masa Resurgence 2581 and before that, continue their work firmly and with new strategies. They have learned how to preserve themselves and their bases inside Iran. It is the people's responsibility to support them in strengthening the social movement. This social movement is of great importance because it can compensate for any shortcoming in any of the other parallel streams of this movement in the global arena. The Russian security forces, which have been the main stage runners in Iran for the past 44 years, have become weak and are stuck in the face of these new strategies that have been used not only in Iran, but also in Ukraine. The Iranian security forces, which were trained by Russian mullahs, have never been capable of security work. Their only strength lies in their brutality and immorality. While the political stream centered around Shah Reza Pahlavi and the social stream have been doing their work well and are preparing for the most magnificent presence of millions in the streets of the cities and even of different villages, while planning to take the control of the capital city of Tehran, there needs to be a third stream. This third stream has the responsibility to form a united delegation to go to a country that will be announced soon, to hold a meeting with Shah Reza Pahlavi, apologize to him and his dear family for the injustice that has been inflicted on this family, and renew the pact with him, to guarantee that Shah Reza and his beloved family will be well taken care of for at least 10 centuries to come. 1. 10 centuries are necessary for cultural development in Iran in such a way that if someone wants to build the country, people will not revolt against them like in 1979. For example, when talking about the constitutional monarchy, some people consider it as going back. However, the catastrophe of 1979 was not a forward progress, thus the return to the constitutional monarchy would not be a return to the past. The disaster of 1979 and the establishment of a Russian Islamic regime in Iran, and the pain and the suffering that has been inflicted on the people has been a bitter experience of regression. This is why it is constantly repeated that it is necessary to rebuild Iran from 1979 or perhaps from 1976. Because some of the factors of this regression had started in Iran since 1976. Making a mistake and paying for it has always been a natural phenomenon, but insisting on making the same mistake and regressing is a disorder. 2. 10 centuries are necessary for cultural development to take place in Iran in such a way that people learn to value themselves and what they have, get rid of jealousy, wish for happiness for themselves and others, and truly share in each other's sorrows. One of the most important tasks of the social movement is to put aside grudges and the instinct of death and replace it with the instinct of life and hope for construction and a better future. 3. 10 centuries are necessary for cultural development to take place in Iran in such a way that scientific and systematic thinking gets well established in Iran in such a way that people realize that there is no difference between the status of a king and a worker, everyone is equally respected and cherished. Everyone needs to realize their worth and not wish to be someone else. The government system that has been presented for Iran using complex formulas and algorithms, taking into considering the strengths and weaknesses that led to the disaster of 1979, is constitutional parliamentary with a polycratic structure centered around Shah Reza Pahlavi. 4. 10 centuries are necessary for cultural development to take place in Iran in such a way that people do not feel ownership of anything or anyone and can live in harmony and balance with each other and with nature. It means to experience both freedom and responsibility towards themselves and others. As humans, we all have duties towards ourselves, others and nature. In the next step, according to the situation we are in, each of us needs to accept responsibilities that go beyond the duties of each one of us as a human being. The only result of accepting these responsibilities is the good feeling that is created for us. This means that no one can blame anyone for taking on more responsibilities or see themselves as higher than others. On the contrary, the one who has more responsibilities is always grateful to the society that has provided him with the honor of service and has a position in the system that is lower than others, and it is always necessary to be accountable to others about his performance. In this structure, the position of the person who serves as the king or the queen is at the top of an inverted pyramid, which is the lowest position in the society. 5. 10 centuries are necessary for cultural development to take place in Iran in such a way that the king or the queen can enjoy the same freedoms as the rest of the society. Until then, the king or the queen, like the king's piece in the game of chess, while many eyes are on them and are always judged, have very limited freedoms compared to the rest of the society, and may not even be allowed to make decisions in the simplest matters of life. The more the society grows culturally, the more personal and social freedoms the king or the queen will have. That is why the Pahlavi family and Shah Reza Pahlavi should be apologized to for the injustice that has been inflicted on them, and a guarantee should be given to them to maintain their security for 10 centuries, because they have undertaken a very difficult responsibility. 6. Using the science and technology of our brothers and sisters in the European Union, America and Israel can help us speed up the work and reduce these 10 centuries to 150 to 200 years. Perhaps this can be expedited even more in the coming years and due to the emergence of new technologies. But if we want to fully rely on Iran's science and technology, 10 centuries are necessary. According to the reasons mentioned above, there is a need for a third stream, the delegation of noble families, to be present in person in the country that will be announced to apologize and sign a new agreement with Shah Reza Pahlavi and his beloved family. This delegation is composed of families who, for at least 5 generations, while playing a role in the construction of Iran, have acquired their assets in honorable ways, and despite all the adversities of the recent years, they still live honorably and put ethics at the top of their agenda, both in their personal space and work. Noble families who have not imposed their way of life on others, their identity is not based on wealth or education, while they have learned to use wealth and education as tools to create prosperity and happiness for themselves and for society. Noble families that do not act on the principles of tribalism and mafia, and want a better life for everyone. Although in practice it may take 10 centuries to reach a place where the society can live in harmony as a result of the development of morality in the society. To put it simply, to reach a point where no one wants to pull someone down, either out of jealousy or because of mental complexes and fears, or because they think that this way they can create a place for themselves. The meaning of the polycratic structure in the constitutional parliamentary that will be centered around Shah Reza Pahlavi as the active presence of such noble families in the society. The third stream which, along with the political and social streams, create pillars in the society that will guarantee the growth of morality in the society because their words and actions are the same. These families, like the Constitutional Council, consider themselves servants of the society and have humility and empathy towards each and every member of the society. While the political stream has been liaising with different countries and the social stream is responsible for energizing and supporting the political stream, the third stream has important responsibilities including the safe return of Shah Reza Pahlavi and his family to Iran and their security for centuries to come. Vigilantes. Massa Resurgence 2581. Rebirth. The 24th of August 2023.